Greetings, Minecrafters! Nonsanity here, and welcome to another episode of All the Mods 10 in the sky. Yes, I'm out here in the sky, and there is nothing around me. I flew off in a direction west from the platform, and we're going to make something out here. So let's do some quick building. I've got the chunk boundaries turned on. Which chunk was I working on? Guess it must have been this one. Doesn't really matter which chunk it is. But I want to build a box around it. So there's a 16 space inside. Is that the corner? Yes. And that will finish it up. Alright, so that should be a 16. Let's see if I hit F9 again and again. No, one more. Alright, this is the one that puts red lines in the corner. So the corner is right there. Right there. Right there and right there. Okay, good. So we've got a square around the center. I'm using the oricum from Create. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're halfway there. I'm going to need more. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And we'll make a bottom. And let's put the floor in. There we go. We are going to make some infinite lava. Now I'm going to add one more. And then let's do a decorative border of a different block. Let's do the azurine. Actually, I can put the azurine in the offhand and use the building or the construction stick for that. And now I want to switch to glass. Where is my glass? Again, put that in the offhand. And good. There we go. We have a big tank to put some lava in. So, how are we going to put the lava in? Let's do it from the middle-ish. It's one of these four. And a block down there. Actually, let's do this. I need a flux plug. Put that in the middle. And I'll actually... I am going to need... how to do that? Alright, so now I need to get out. I made plentishers. Oop, there they are. These are from Mechanism. Recipe. Some tin and basic control circuits around a pump, which is advanced, reinforced, energy tablet. All basic. Is that right? Oop, it still had some lava in it from my testing. And I did need to do these blocks on the side, because that's the direction it needs to be placed. So I can get rid of this. Yeah, there they go. They're going to start filling this in. I think the way they work is they start in the block below them, and they work all the way down with source blocks. And then they go out in a ring around themselves and go down. I do another ring around that and do all those down. But they're going to need some lava, and I've set some up. I've bypassed all the lava production I have from my what are they called? The 64X guys. Magnetic generators. Each one of those had 7 lava producers. Well, I diverted all of them into one of these ender tanks. And now I'm going to hook this up and give it a speed upgrade. There. Now as we finish building here, they will keep running. So, what do I want to do? I guess I'm going to put these... I want to have them in the middle, so... I'm going to... So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I want to start at this end. So I'm going to place these hose pulleys. Create object. Copper casing, hit a stripped log with copper. Dried kelp, we're getting kelp from sifting. You just bake it, make it a block, and copper plate, done that. Yeah, this will work. Alright. Take this down. And now I need from create, let's get 2 encased chain drives and a hand crank. Because we can do 2 of these at once with the crank. I want to take them all the way down to the bottom. So let me finish doing these. So I got to do each pair. Can't do more than 2 with the crank. It's all it can handle. All the torque it provides. So let me send all of these to the bottom and let this thing keep filling in with lava. And we'll be back in a bit. Alright, I think we are just about done. There it is. And you can use time in a bottle. Oh, I don't have quite that fast a lava production. Still, it's getting close to the edges here. So let's finish setting things up. Gonna want all these pipes. Oh, didn't have enough. There it goes, filling in the corner. Yeah, I'll just move it to each of the corners. That'll be faster, though a little boring to watch, so I will see you in a moment. Okay, I don't hear anymore. I think that's it. Fortunately, these don't say whether or not the lava is infinite, but we'll find out pretty quick when I turn them on. So let's pick up these. Now I can hook up these pipes. Let's put away the plenishers. Oh, I didn't want to put away the point. Oh, I have another one in my system. Get rid of those. The glass. Point. We'll keep this. We'll hook it up. And they're not stacking, of course. Let's clear them so they stack. There we go. Don't need more of that. Do want more of these. I want 10 of them. And let's get a fluid drawer. That looks like this one held lava at some point. It's still... oh, it's locked, that's why. That's fine. It's perfect for our needs. And we'll get 4 netherite upgrades and max it out. So this can hold 2 billion millibuckets. So let's go get all of these turned on. Alright. Give them all an upgrade. That's it. And pop this down. We do have infinite lava. Look at that. 10 million millibuckets. Just like that. It's 20,000 buckets of lava. This will fill up in 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll just leave that there as a backup lava stuff. Meanwhile, that will get filled up. And we've got lava storage. And I have some waystones here. So we can put one down. We'll call this lava. Caps went out. There we go. Yep. Infinite lava, just that easy. So like I said, where did all this lava come from? I put that together. So let's go and take a look at that. So I've got the 3 productions for the 3 magmatic generators. And I just diverted the other end of their lava pipes all into this ender tank, what's 3 orange. And that just sort of diverted it all. These would still get lava. Yeah, they got enough to run. Now, I can get rid of all of this because we can rearrange everything here. Yeah, let's go ahead and take all that down. I guess we can leave that there. We don't need this setup anymore. And what we can do is put down all of the magmatic generators, all 3 of them at the moment. We'll just start at this end. We will run a pipe along the top. Move this there. Get out my wrench. And 1 ultimate upgrade. Toss that in there. That will now keep these guys topped up. They all just drained. Oh, probably because all the lava is going to that other tank. Let's, where is my warp stone? Oh, it's still in my inventory. This was a part of the Waystones mod. Let's move this down to this end. And instead hook it up like this. Alright, so that now it can all go into here, and then the excess can go into there. Alright. Back home. I can turn off the chunk boundaries. Alright, that's better. That's gonna... That should... Oh, I didn't chunk load. That's why. I forgot to chunk load over here. Let's do that. There's the base. Here we are. Chunk loaded. Alright, now they are all full. And that looks empty. Wonder if that means that these can't be burning as fast as that can fill, can it? I guess we can make a few others and see. X64. Oops. 64X, isn't it? Yeah, 64X. So it was 5. Let's see. We'll just make... How many of these do we want to make? We'll make 5 more. Why not? Use these. I need these. I'm just going to make a stack of them. It's 40 of those. And you know, I'm just going to make a stack of these. Who knows? I might need them. Those and 5 more. Not over there. How did it get over there? I should have made 2 more. Nope, they're all completely full. So the fact that that is looking empty is just a graphical thing. It can keep all of these. It can keep 5 running at once. These were already full of power. Alright, so now I just got to get the power out into my system. And they produce 20,000 each. And how much... I don't know how much power these energy pipes can extract. But we'll try them and see if they can keep up. And we'll just do 1 plug here. You know, I won't know unless I do something funky here. Now, let's grab another point. Turn it on, and I think I still have the energy trash can. Let's throw away some power. Yeah, okay, that's taken a huge amount of power. Is that draining all of them? They are all staying drained. These two have a little bit of power, but they had a big storehouse. Alright, so that means that these pipes can handle that many magmatic generators. They all still have full lava, so even all burning at full power, the lava can keep up. How many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we'll go with 8. Then get rid of that, and we're done. We now have tons of power. Let's see, it's just, oops. Clear that so it stacks. And I'm going to clean up my inventory and move on to something else. I have shortened my foundry and removed all the tables. It just couldn't keep up after I did some other changes, which we'll be getting to. So I've redone my stack over here. Something I should have done from the beginning. I've got 2 of the electrolytic separators producing oxygen. Looks like this one is... It seems to always favor one. Now it's favoring this one and using its oxygen. I think it only needs about 1. I do have a stack of 8 chemical upgrades in here, which someone reminded me about. I always forget about some of these other upgrades because most of the time they don't work in whatever machine you're using. But this one can take the chemical and the muffling. And the muffling, I just mute stuff anyway. But yeah, the chemical upgrade makes it take less oxygen to run. So it is getting the ores as they are created, and by the fact that these are really small numbers in one empty slot, it is, chewing on the ores as fast as they are being produced, which is a good thing to see. So there's no backlog of ores in the system. But it is, because it is triplicating, it just makes sense to have 3 stacks of the next step in the process. So this makes the clumps, and then the crushing factory grinds the clumps into dirty dust, and the enriching factory turns the dirty dust into clean dust. So the output from this gets split 3 ways. There's another one there in the back. And that I did set that round robin, so it'll distribute it amongst the 3. Then each of those is pushing up into the enriching factory above them, and then all of those are outputting through this pipe into an all-the-modium furnace, which can keep up even with the triplicated. And then that outputs, with the import all items true, into the system. And that is running pretty well. It is using a lot more power. Well, it's not as much power now that it's gotten through all the backlog. So that's only 3,000, 2,000, 5,000, something like that. This one's using about 10,000, spiking to 20,000. And this one, yeah, it's only down to 2,000. Over here, okay. Even though this one's full, it is chewing the most power, a little over 20,000. Strange that this one is almost empty, and it's not using much power. Strange. It does have... It's got 4 speed upgrades. Oh, that one's got 8. Okay, that's why it's not using as much power. But I don't need to change it. It is working. I have also gotten rid of the dirt processing over here. I kept one of the moss generators. I might get rid of that. I don't really need to have a lot of moss on hand. I already have a good 2,000 in storage. But I made some dirt seeds in the farm. I made 4 dirt seeds. And they are currently producing dirt. Yep, there it goes. So those 4 seeds are making dirt faster than this dirt production was running. So it jumps up every now and then. by 24. So we're going to have another project chest over here in a bit. I did keep, even though I chopped this down to a much smaller size, just because of the aesthetics of it, I didn't like how big it was, really. And just put some manual tables around it, because we will be using it to make Geores, using this 1x sand and melting down some materials. The only automation on it is feeding into this, which I can turn off. All right. First project chest is just a little bit of technology. The warp plates from Waystones. I wanted to show how those are... Oh, these are frame chests with a factory block on them. I thought they'd make nice standout project chests. So the way the warp plates work, you put one down, and it pops out this attuned shard. And then somewhere else you place down another one, and it pops out an attuned shard. So this is the second one. This is the first one. I'm going to take the first one. Well, if you put the wrong, try to put the wrong one in, it doesn't like it. It won't take its own shard. So you've put it in the other one, and there. So they've exchanged shards. So now if I step on this one, it puts me on the other one. If I step on it, it puts me on the first one. And I think they remember which way they're placed. So if I walk on this one, yep. Yeah, so each one has a front and a back to it. And I don't think there's any way to... Can you craft them with their own? No. So now I've got these two. I'm just going to trash them. So I can make more. They're pretty cheap. Another thing I've got, and there's a project chest over there in a bit, was this thing. I wasn't going to set it up on camera because it's a temporary thing. I've got a drawer of sand, drawer of gravel, drawer of, in this case, light gray dye. And each of those is being pumped out into a crafter, light gray dye, gravel, sand, which is turning it into concrete powder. That is being piped out into these Ender IO fluid tanks, excuse me, which are being topped off with water from a sink. Yeah, I had the hiccups there, but I can always concentrate them away. All right, so that's taking the water from the sink and hydrating the powder into concrete, which then gets output into this chest. So I've already got over 500,000. That's probably enough. Got another 200 of each of these. I guess I'll let it go. I can recolor the concrete once it's made, but I thought, this will be a decent blank canvas to start with when I finally start doing some building. I will come to that. First, I want this little project chest over here. Oh, I can show this. Coming up through the floor from underneath, it's connected to the rest of the network. I had already placed this logic cable importer, which is import all with the variable card true. So anything in this spot will get any inventory placed here will get imported into the system. And then this one is an exporter the same way, but it's using something that I've done before, but I hadn't done in this series. And a commenter mentioned it, so I thought I'd show it. This is a inventory reader, and one of its elements is a list of all the items in the inventory it's attached to. So this is just a drawer, so it can only have one item. But let's say I wanted to have a drawer full of, what do I got a lot of? Got a lot of gold. I'll explain how I got the gold in a bit. So I put down this drawer, this exporter. I guess I should show this. So if I were to clear this card, I scroll down to the red one, which is a list, and I get the list of all the items in there. There's nothing in there, but this is a live list. So I'm going to put it over here in the export items, and you can see it's got an empty list, ... No, nothing in here, so it's not going to export anything in there. But as soon as I put something in there, this list now says gold ingot. It's a live connection because they're on the same network. And that just put 2,000 gold into this drawer, which I'm now going to pick up and empty by placing it here. So it's a handy way to move large quantities of materials around. And you can, by increasing the size of the drawer with the various upgrades, you can customize how much it holds and get exactly how much you want. So I got a lot of sand. Actually, I didn't use that for these. I grabbed a compressed cobble. I think I used, was it these? Yeah, these, which is like 500,000. Took one, took it down to gravel, one took it down to sand, and I made one more of these crafters to uncraft both of them into these drawers. And once I had finished uncrafting them, I got rid of it. And now it's one of those stupid... It's one of these. I can't get it out. If I try and drag it... Oh, it won't even let me drag them now. I can... Really? Okay, now it will let me pick it up. But it won't let me put it down. Don't know why. If these things have any sort of data in them, I can't get them out. But the blank ones, sure, no problem. So I haven't been reusing them because I can't get them out. Oh, I think I know that that one is right here. So I should... Okay, no, I tried blanking it, but it still remembers that it had stuff. Well, maybe not. Just put it up there. Okay. So as soon as this is done, I will take it apart and I'll drain this back into the system. It'll take a while to drain. But it could just sit there for a bit. And then I'll have all the concrete I need on tap. Alrighty now. I think we're ready for this chest. Yes? Oh, one more thing here. Let me take down this tree. Alright, if you want to get started in bees, place down a poppy 1 block away. I think it's 1 block away. And then grow a tree. Did not get lucky this time. It happens pretty often. Oop, not when it's low. As soon as I start recording, there we go. There is a green carpenter bee in that nest. And you'll get a lot of these. And I made a whole bunch of these catchers that lets me catch the bees and hold them. You can also just break the nests while they're in there and they will stay in the nests. Otherwise the nest will be empty. And you can get a lot of bees. If you want to get, that won't get you any honey. So I'm using sticks here. If you place something diagonally from the tree too high, then you'll get the taller trees and you'll get a chance to get a beehive that way, though it won't be as frequent as the bee nests. So you can get started with those, and then that'll let you open up bees. But we're not doing bees. I'm just showing that I started with the basic bee. What we're doing now is AE2. Yep, finally getting to AE2. There's some elements of it that I want to work on. Actually, I'll just go ahead and break this. So, what I'm going to do, I made some item conduit from Ender.io. Good stuff when it works, and I think it's working pretty well now. Well enough. First thing I want to do after placing the 9 like this is I'm going to wrench the bottom 3 and the top 3. And then go into them and click Automatic Access Mode and Auto Export. So now produced items will be auto exported through any extraction side. And the automated access mode is now set to automation can access slots from specific sides. Top and bottom slots can be extracted from. I need these sideways because they are going to push the output. If you do the question mark here, it gives you this chart. So the sides are B and D is the output. I want D, the output, to be pushed up into the middle. So I've tipped them on their side so that the side, D, pushes. And same with these. Their lower edge, which is a side, will now push down in here. These 3 will be in silicon. And the top 3 will be logic, calculation, and engineering. And the engineering is the diamond. Alright, now I've used my filler-upper contraption that I showed you to make a bunch of drawers. So I'm going to put the silicon down here. And silicon is just take the Certus dust and smelt it. So I did a bunch of that. Redstone. I think this next one will be the output, which I've already tagged with the 3 different processor outputs. Put the gold there. That's the diamond. And that's the Certus. Alright. And I'm going to get just a block here for a moment. Not there. Let's turn off reach around. I'm going to place a node there. And I've also made some of these energy transmitters from Just Dire Things. They're pretty cheap now that we've got all the Dire Things materials. And those, like many of the machines, so I want this to be that shape. There, so it's drawing a box around all 9 of these machines, which means this power is going to go in there and be shared with all of those. So they are now going to be powered, and they should all, it doesn't show the power, but yeah, it does when you hover over them. They all have full up power. So now we just got to get the stuff from around the edges into them, and that's where the item conduits are going to come in handy. Come around back here. So the bottom here is silicon, and we want that to go into all of these. So I'm going to say extract, and I'm going to click this and say gray for silicon. Yes? Yeah, gray for silicon. And extract always. We're going to turn off extract, turn on insert, and we're going to say dark gray. So that one should be getting silicon. Same with this one. There they go. They're all getting silicon and making the silicon wafers. Printed silicon. They should be pushing up. Oh, not be okay. I didn't set all of them up. Okay, so this one's pushing. I want them in the lower section though, so let's manually move those down once. All right. They should all have nothing in their output. That means they're all pushing to there. Good. Next, we want the redstone. Now, these I can separate them, so let's get that wrench back out again. If I put down these, they are going to connect, which is fine because I have them on different colors. You can right-click these connections to disable them, like so. But you don't have to as long as they're all on different colors, which they will be. So this is going to extract red for redstone. Always on. We're going to insert red. Insert red. So they should all be getting redstone into the proper slot. Well, that one isn't. But we can come over here and say round robin enabled. And then each one will get some redstone. I should do that for this as well. Round robin enabled. So it'll spread it out evenly. And then the top sections, that's already disconnected. Oops. Can't click these with the pipes in your hand. This is going to extract, it'll be gold for gold. Always on, and this is going to insert on gold. And here I'll demonstrate that these can connect sideways, but that's fine because we're going to be putting them onto their own colors. This will be Certus, so I'll call that white. Well, not on this one, over here. So this is the extract. Always on. And this will be insert on white. And then this will be extract on blue, light blue, cyan, diamond color. And this will be insert on that. All right. So that's getting the gold and making the printed logics. That's getting the Certus and making the calculations. And this is getting the diamond and making the engineering. And they should be pushing down, but they won't until I click these two buttons. So now we're getting all three. It's going to start making the outputs. Yep, there I made a calculation processor, engineering processor, logic processor. Now we got to get those out and into here. So, and that is going to not connect because I disconnected the other one. We can reconnect it like that. And these are going to extract. We'll just do it on the green, the default. Make this one insert on the green. So now these should not have any outputs in them. And instead these numbers should be going up. And they are. We have automated circuit processing. And it's going to make 2,000 of each because that's how much I gave it of each of the three input materials. I could restock them or add some upgrades to these and get more. But I'm just going to do them at 2,000. And because I ran them before and made some of these calculation processors, I could make upgrades, speed upgrades. So I'm just going to whack each one of these with a stack of 3 or 4. So they're all running pretty fast now. And that'll churn through it all. And we're done. It's just that easy to produce the circuits. And again, because we don't have to have these disconnected because they're all in different colors, but you can. Turn that back on. So yeah, I could turn all these back on, and it'll work. Whoops. It'll work just fine. And we're done. So now we can make stuff from Flight Energistics. And the things I want to make right now are the growth accelerators. Don't need the cranked. I do want to make the directional growth accelerators, the boosted growth accelerators, and they both need the basic growth accelerator, which does not need any circuits. So let's make a few of those. Looks like I already made 2 of the red ones in preparation. I made some fluics just by hand. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. If I fill out these 2 red ones, then I need 8 of the purple ones, and use 2 of those to make, whoops, the blue ones, which need some more acceleration cards. Also need some Fluix pearls. Oh, I need to grind some more Fluix. Just do 1 stack. We will shortly make more Fluix. That away. That's enough for my needs at the moment. So the blue ones, 2 Fluix pearls, 2 blue ones. What am I missing? Oh, formation core. I already had some in my system, but that was the last of them. All right, there we go. I get that one I took from my inventory back. All right, I've got 6, 2, and 2. And we'll be using them in here, but not immediately. So I'm going to stick another project chest here, just to remind us that we have more to do in there. Meanwhile, different project chest. Oh, I left a flex point up there. So I've got 2 warp plates set up, and I built this little platform here. Project chest. I have made another platform like this in the nether, and another one in the end. If I step on that, it'll take me to the nether. If I step on that, it'll take me to the end. And each one of those platforms is the same as this one, though I used a different color of the stone. And they each have a pair that go to the other 2. So if I step on that one, it goes to nether. Step on the right one again, goes to end. Step on the right one again, I come back here. That arrangement should tell some of you what we're going to do now. And I'm going to get things out of this chest and put it away. And I really should have looked at the order that I picked things up, because I got 2 that are identical looking, but they are set up differently. All right, let's take a risk. There we go. I got the right one. This is an advanced swapper. What you do I have the wrench in here? I should, but I don't. This is the Ferrocore wrench from Just Dire Things. And if you whack it on one of these, and then whack it on another one, Then when one is given redstone signal and power, it will transport whatever is in its target box to the other location. And interestingly, once they're bound together, changing the dimensions of one will change the dimensions of the other. Their dimensions are locked, so they will have the same volume on both sides, though you can change the position, the offset, on one without changing the other. So this one is set for these two blocks here, as is this one, but they are not linked together. They're both looking at these two blocks. This one is actually linked to the one in the nether. I've got one set up there already. And this one is linked to one in the end. So what I'm going to do now is finish building this setup. I'm going to place a basic growth accelerator here. I'm going to place an advanced sensor there. Let me turn off these two. That is where the advanced sensor is looking. Just this one space, the lower of the two that the movers are working with. I want to place a lamp on top of it just for feedback and place another one of these energy transmitters. If I turn on its render, it is rendering this whole second platform 3 blocks high and 1 block down under, so it includes the platform because the other teleporter block, swapper, is down there, so it has to extend down into the platform. So as a reminder, those are the 2 blocks that will be moved. And that is the 1 block that is being looked at. What is the sensor looking for in that block? I placed a budding time crystal block here just by dragging it from JEI. Right-click it, and it's set to stage 1. So if a time crystal block that is currently in stage 1 appears here, this thing will power on a redstone signal, turn the light on, and this guy is set to pulse. So when it receives that on signal, this one is set to the nether. That one is linked to the end. I had that backward. This one is linked to the nether. So when it gets the redstone signal, it'll send whatever is in these 2 places to the nether. And I also have a lever here. I can power it to force what's in the nether back, to pull it back to this location. You see it pulled this back. So you can swap. Now this is a budding time crystal block, but it is not currently in stage 1. That looks like stage 2. So it is not lighting up. But before, when I pulled it, it was in stage 1, and it immediately triggered and sent it off to the nether. So now we'll send it back to the nether, and we will go to the nether to see what's over there. What is over there? Oh, I got a time crystal on me. Let me get rid of it, or it'll be slowing me. There we go. All right. What is over there is the exact same setup. We also have a advanced swapper down here. That is the one that is linked to the one that's here in the overworld. That is the receiver from the overworld. This one is set to the end. I had it turned on. Now you can see this is lit up because this is saying this is set to stage 2, and that is a stage 2 time crystal. But it's not going because this is set to pulse. So it only sends when this turns on. And the switch isn't going to do anything because it's getting a constant signal from this guy. So what I need to do is toggle this around. As I passed through high, it triggered because it was getting a signal from here. But now it's back to pulse. So let's continue on to the end. Oh, it came around while I was there. The end is a slightly different setup. You can see there's the time crystal, and it's growing. So the bottom one now is a directional growth accelerator. So it's forcing the crystal above it to grow up only. That doesn't reduce the crystals, because anytime any of the sides would have grown, instead the top grows. So it concentrates all the growth on the top side. We also have a boosted growth accelerator. You can only have one touching a geode, and 3 regular growth accelerators just to fill it out and maximize the speed. On top of this one here is a block breaker, currently targeting the block in front of it only. Doesn't have to be an advanced for that, but... And it's got an Eclipse alloy pickaxe with the... see, if I take it and shift click, the drops teleporter. So when it breaks something, it sends it back to one of my inventory chests that I already tagged with it. All right, you heard that sound, and this lit up. Every now and then, while this is growing, and this is currently in stage 3, I think. Yeah, this is waiting for it to go to stage 3. When it's in stage 3, it will grow crystals. And coming here to the end takes a stage 2 and forces it into stage 3, and then it'll sit here and grow for a while. Eventually, it's going to randomly go back to stage 0, in which case this one, set to stage 0, will fire and send it to the overworld. And because the overworld and the nether each have one of these purple ones underneath, that really accelerates the absorption. And so they're there just for the briefest moment. So it goes to the overworld for a brief moment, gets sent, goes to stage 1, gets sent to the nether. For the briefest moment, goes to stage 2, gets sent here, almost immediately upgrades to stage 3 because of all these boosts, and then it sits here growing and getting harvested until it reverts to stage 0, and then it gets sent back around again. And in each one of these, we have the whole platform being charged, so I don't have to run cables to anything. And if I need to, lock it down, I could do that twice, and now it's going to stay here. Yeah, see, even though this lit up, because it is now saying that this is stage 0, it is reverted back. It will not grow anymore, so it needs to go to the overworld. But it won't now because I need to cycle past high. There we go. And you saw how fast it came back. It went overworld, nether, and was back really, really quick. There it went again. So most of the time it's going to stay here growing, with very brief visits to the other 2 dimensions to get recharged. So that is how this setup works. And I just made each one look similar, just for aesthetics. That gets us time crystals, and they're all linked to this chest here. Well, there's only the one breaker, and I've got 11,000 time crystals. Because it's been running overnight. Yeah, I think it was last night that I set that up. So it's doing pretty good. But that one is like a special crystal. There's lots of other geodes, official geodes, that we can do. The geode mod adds a whole bunch of other crystals. None of these are the time. The time is just dire things, and it's sort of built like an amethyst. But the Geores mods adds a whole bunch of resource ones. And that is what we're going to use these for. So let's head into the new compact machine, which I haven't done anything yet, really, but I've started planning things out, and I want to start doing some decorative builds now instead of just the wooden platform. I haven't quite decided on a style, but I'm leaning towards sort of a brutalism sort of thing. I am aphantasic, if you are familiar with the term. It means I can't visualize things in my head. I didn't know it until this year. What I was doing in my head, I thought was visualizing. But no, people can see actual pictures in their head, and I can't. What I see is... I liken it more to... If you were planning a stage production, you could build a miniature version of the stage with the wings and little cardboard cutouts for the people in the sets and say, this is where they are here and there, and this is the arrangement of all the stuff. In my head, I have the arrangements of things, the places, the volumes, the relationships of where things are. And I say all this because I like brutalism. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. It's an architectural style. You've surely seen buildings in it. Well, some people think they're ugly, but I think that it was designed by somebody who was aphantasic, because it's all about the space, not the look of it exactly, but the feeling of the look, the space around you. And that's the way I like to build, I've realized. So I'm going to go with the spaces, which is why I've got, ramps and levels, and being off center. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And I sort of laid this out. This is where we're going to do the geodes. And I've got more of these and some other bits and bobs. And I've got 2 gold geodes. So in the middle here is where the red one is going to go. And I should have made an underfloor. Let me quickly build an underfloor. And I'll do that by just laying down some blocks like this. And then wanding them out to the far end. Okay. So now I got something to click on down there. Because I want these facing up. So the red ones are the red ones. Purple ones are the purple ones. Did not hit the floor on that one. And these will be where the geodes go. And down below is where the blue ones will be. And that's sideways, but I don't think it matters. And I'll do these 2 as well. So these 2 spots are ready for geodes. So let's get the 2 gold ones here. Put them in place. Of course, nothing is powered. So I'm going to use the energy transmitter. Let's go down below. So those are the 2 blue ones. That's the red one. Let's go about here. Let's see. Put that there. Gonna make it visible. We're going to make it as big as possible, horizontally. Okay, and yeah, so 2 in. That's right. How far over does that go? That goes over pretty far. Not quite far enough to get the whole thing. I think we'll use it. We'll do it there. So we'll take this up, up. So it's covering the 2 blue ones and covering, ooh, almost all that area. I think I can get away with 1 more to cover the rest. All right, that's working. Let's turn off. And these have grown. Good. And now I need the breaker, which I'm going to just put, I guess, here. Doesn't really matter since it's an advanced breaker. I'm going to maximize its area. I don't need the gold shard. I just need the gold geared cluster, which you can drag from JEI. And we can move it. Oh, I don't need to move it up. I need to move it down, but not quite yet. That's moving that way. That's covering all the whites in this direction. Nope, wrong way. I can go 2 more. That's covering them all in that direction. I already have a pickaxe, and this one is got the auto smelter and the drops teleporter. So I'm going to put that in there and lower this down. And I'm going to stand here in the middle. There we go. So in a large area around that spot, that particular sound will not be heard. So these are being mined, smelted, and then sent back to my ore chest in the overworld. And that's it. Those have been automated. And as I fill out the rest of this pattern with more ores, Geores, I will have a lot. And these 2 just running like overnight is why I was almost out of gold, because my system to make my system that was making the netherite, it was smart in that it wasn't, oh, I did have one in there. I got 2. Don't need both of them. It was making the netherite, but it was smart in that it was leaving a certain amount of gold. Oh, I've had so many hiccups. It's the 3rd batch. Hold on. I'm going to concentrate them away. They've been very mild hiccups, so I don't even have to stop talking. As long as I just focus on that particular muscle long enough, they'll be gone. I learned that back in high school. All right, they're gone. I had my freshman high school math teacher. The student says, I have the hiccups. Can I go and get a drink of water from the water fountain? And he said, sure, but first you have to come up, stand in front of the class, facing the class, and hiccup. Then you can go. She nervously got up, stood in front of the class, and everybody was waiting for her to hiccup, including her, which made her think about the spot that was hiccuping. You think about the spot, and little hiccups, they'll go away. You have to concentrate more and sort of try and imagine shaking that spot and really grabbing it, keeping your attention there. Because if you just put your attention there and then don't do anything, it sort of drifts away and you'll hiccup. But as long as you hold that spot in your attention, you can control that involuntary muscle and keep yourself from hiccuping. Most of the time. If they're really bad hiccups, you got to hold your breath too, I find. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was hiccuping. Where was I before that? Oh yeah, the gold. I have a lot of gold. I got so much gold. I got gold for days. I got 4 million gold. I was down to just like 5,000 because of the netherite. Because I was making so much. Look, I've got 500,000 ancient debris. So all that was getting turned into netherite. How much netherite do I have? Where is it? Here it is. I got 73,000 netherite ingots because that system is not very fast. But that was 73,000 gold that it used to make those. Thankfully, only one because of that setup. I may not need that setup anymore because I'll just have so much gold. 4 million gold. I think there is a gold. I haven't really even looked at the ATM star recipe on screen. Oh, not just ATM star. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, here's a gold singularity, which takes only 25,000 gold. You need one there on the outside of the recipe, but also one. You need a 5x block of gold. So that's 59,000 gold as well. And then this guy, the ultimate singularity, I think it also has a gold singularity of 25,000. So that's 100,000 just to make one star. But now we've got 2 million just overnight of gold. So yeah, I can make as much gold as this takes many times over. So now I just need to make more of the Geores and lay out more of the growth accelerators. And to do that, we can just come over here. And we're going to place one of these 1x sands into the casting basin. And let's do iron next. And we'll do 2 iron Geords as well. So we want 18, no, is it 19? 20 actually, because I think it was 10 of the gold, so it must be 10 of the iron as well. So we'll turn this on, get it all melted down. And once that's melted, pour it over that. Turns into a Geore. And once it cools off, I can take it out. Empty hand. And I can make another one. And I should have just the right amount of iron. Yep. It's weird. It says it needs 900. And each iron, you took the uses on iron and go to the alloy smelter. No, not alloy smelter. Where's the item melting? There we go. Okay, it only makes 90, so you do need 10. All right. So we got 2 of these. Let's go back in there. I guess we'll put them in these 2 spots. Let's get these down. We need the blues. We need 1 blue for each Geore. Keep wanting to add a D to the end. And then that, but they won't get broken until we teach it here. The iron cluster. And there they go. And we can turn this down to 1 so it's even faster. So while this covers a large area, we probably will want to have more than one, because as there gets more for it to chop down, it'll get a little slower. So I may have a few of them scattered about the edges, doing different sections, and reduce their ranges to not overlap. That's a good plan. And so that's going straight to iron. You can see my iron is going up really fast now. So I'm going to do more of that across the whole grid here. And make a whole lot more geords. Geores. Geores. Not geords. Why do I keep doing that? I will be back when I've done some more of that. All right, as I added more, they were definitely slowing down. So even right now, this guy is doing the original 4. And the new one I placed is doing the 4 over here, the new ones, copper and redstone. And it is still slower than just doing 2. Probably like half the speed. So it's like a balance between how many of these do you want to have with the pickaxes, and how fast you want it to go. I think 4 for each of these is a good enough speed. I mean, you can definitely tell that it could go faster. I can always later add twice as many of these things and make each one do 2. Or even give each one their own. That's a lot of pickaxes to have to set up, but you could do it. Depends on just how fast you want it to go. And I got 2 million gold over in one day from doing a 2. So I'd only get 1 more million a day going forward. So this is a server, so it'll keep running. I think that's fine. So doing 4 for each, I think is a good compromise. So like, just since I set that up a few moments ago, you can go and see how much redstone is in the target chest. There was no redstone in this chest before. There's redstone, actually no redstone in there. Redstone is over here. In here, there's already 5,000 redstone just from that few seconds. Though nothing more is coming in. Did I forget to chunk load this? Oh, you have to stay right on it, which is good. Let me check. I have not. So let me chunk load all. Oh, I missed one. I missed 2. Am I out? Ah, it's mice. 25. I'm going to up that because this is my server. I'm the only one on it, and because I'm recording, I want to make things more attractive, so I want to spread things out, which means more chunks loaded. It'll be the same amount of stuff running, so it won't really make a difference for the performance, especially since there's nothing in the chunks. It's all void, but yeah, I'm going to up that number. So yeah, this should now be running when I'm outside. Yeah, there it goes. 500, 7,500, 7,600. Yeah, it's plenty fast. All right, I think that will wrap this episode up. I don't have anything else queued up for things to do. No more. Oh, no, wait. No, wait. Hold the presses. I forgot about this chest. That was going to be the first one I was going to do, and I got distracted by doing the input and output stuff that was around it. Want to do this. absolutely want to do this. First thing, I'm just going to stick it down over here, is this guy again. We saw him before. I also made the experience holder from Just Dire Things. It's pretty cheap. And I hooked it up with a fluid pipe to my tank of experience in the mob farm and filled it up with all that liquid experience, which is now in here as levels. So I can get levels out, and I'm going to put emeralds and lapis and a book and quill in here, and that gets me a Fortune 3 book. I'm going to get 3 of them. Oh, I had enough. Oh, I have lots of experience on me. I'll put it all in here. Okay, yeah. Control click puts it all in, or Control Shift click did at least. So that, actually I need to keep some of it. Shift click will give me 10 at a time. Regular click will give me just 1. So if I take an anvil here, I can then combine these 3s to make a 4, and combine the 4s to make a 5, which is the limit that you can place on something. And now we are going to do a little bit of create. There's a number of different ways to duplicate enchanted books, but the printer from Create Enchantment Industry needs some brass, which you can make the brass mixture from copper and zinc, smelt that up, hammer it into a plate, make a spout, copper casing, which is the copper on a stripped log, some kelp, block of iron, not hard to make. Place that over a depot. And then we take a fluid hatch, which is also not hard to make. It's an item drain with copper. Item drain is copper casing, iron bars. Really simple. I'm going to place down a drying basin. I'm going to get a pipe. And pipe some of this liquid experience into a drying basin. Wait a moment, and it should dry into, oops. There it goes. I was going to say, does it not work with this particular type of experience? Into a block of experience, and then craft that with the fluid hatch. No. Whack it on the, I think it's whack it on the fluid hatch. So let's attach the fluid hatch there and then whack it with the block of experience. There we go. Now it's an experience hatch. If we see there is a port here on the back of the printer, if I now right-click the experience hatch, it'll take some of my experience and load it into the printer. On this side, where you have this display, I put my enchanted book. It's not actually there, it's still in my inventory, but an image of it is there, and that tells it we're printing that book. Now I could take a stack of blank books, and it'll start printing using some of the experience to create copies. And I could just right-click this to put more in there. You can also hook it up to a tank, so you can put more in there at once. Yeah, any way you want to do it. I'm going to keep this simple. Oh, it's full and it's starting to chuck the books out at me. I did put a lot of books down there. A lot of blanks. Let's put stuff away here. Let's run out of experience, give it some more. It's not using a lot of experience to do this. I took 200 levels out of the experience holder, and I've used about a quarter of them. And I've got 16 books, and there's, I think, 8 more on the table. So with this, you can enchant all of the meshes in the sifters. You can enchant all these pickaxes that are going into the breakers so that they get more drops. Yeah, this is a good book to have lots of copies of. So I'm making lots of copies of it. And I think that is where we will end this episode. To the sound of this thing throwing books at me. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lots more to come. This is Nonsanity signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time.